I've never used a laser engraver before until LaserPecker offered to send me their newest machine and also sponsor this video. In the first box I found the engraver itself, and all the parts and accessories were packed inside. Packed inside the laser was 5 boxes that contained all the accessories, except for this one. This one was an imposter. I also found this thing that made a really cool sound. Underneath that, there was one more box, and that was about it. In the first bag, I found the laser itself, and this is a 40-watt module, but we'll talk more about it later. Next was a parts kit. In this box is the air assist, and this is the thing that'll pump air into the laser to assist it, I guess. This looks like a Mac Studio. The next 3 boxes contained a fire extinguisher kit, some slats for the bottom, and some test materials. Laser installation was surprisingly simple, actually. I just slid it into a dovetail style thing, pushed down the lever, and then connected a couple wires. Now with everything unpacked and pretty much put together, it was time to decide what I was going to make for my first test. And I landed on this. I'm going to try to make a Genesis Wooden Creations sign. In order to make the sign, first I need to turn it on, second, figure out how to use it, and 3, get the file to engrave. And if I can figure all 3 of those out, should be smooth sailing from there. Is it supposed to do something? Alright, so apparently in this box there's this thing called a security key, and it has to be plugged in order for the laser to turn on. Turn on now. Guys, look at this idiot here. He's looking all around, trying to figure out why it won't turn on. Little does he know that the emergency stop button is activated. He figured it out, though. Time to turn it on. I heard a beep. Hello? Oh, it's moving. Now, with the first part complete, it was time to move on and figure out how to use it. I started by reading the manual and quickly figured out that I was going to need to download an app in order to control it. So I scanned the QR code and downloaded it. There's also a computer version for the app, and it's called LaserPecker Design Space, or LDS. Now that I've read the instructions, it's time to connect the laser to my phone. But before I could do anything, I had to watch an unskippable safety video.
Because of this, laser processing has high energy density.
Alright, so I got everything set up, and now we're going to go ahead and hit create. And it says device not connected. We can just click up here and it should start looking for, there it is. It found our laser engraver, just click on it, and we are now connected. With the laser now connected, it's time to start working on the first project, and I decided to use some of the test material that was included in the box. This next part is about a minute of me pretending I know what I'm doing. Click camera snapshot and show background. This is probably pretty self-explanatory, but inside of the laser there's a 12 megapixel camera. It's a top-down view that takes a picture of the project that you're working on so that you can line up everything in the app. Alright, so for the first thing I'm going to engrave, I think I'm going to start with a text. I'm going to do Genesis Wooden Creations. And we can reposition this. It just needs to be within the area where the piece of plywood is. I think for the first engraving, I'm going to make it really small and do it all the way in the corner. I got the text where I want it. Now the next step is to measure it. I click the measure button and then this little scan button, and I can reposition this target wherever I want it, and it'll measure how thick the wood is. Alright, so now with the measurement done and we have the text that we want on here, we're going to click preview. And we're going to do whatever speed you want. And I'm going to click preview. And click preview again. And this will show you roughly where your design is going to be on your piece of wood. And I'm happy with where it is right now. So now I'm going to click process. And it will go ahead and auto-determine all of the parameters that it needs to be. So it's going to be 80 millimeters a second, I guess is what that is. And it's chosen 20% power for the laser. And I'm happy with that. So let's go ahead and click next. Alright, the design is now uploaded to the engraver. Now we're going to click this green button to start. This engraving took about 15 minutes to complete, and I'm not sure if that's like a normal speed or anything, but on the website they claim about 35% faster than all the competitors, so that's pretty good. Okay, it looks like it's done. Let's check it out. Okay. That's pretty cool. It does seem very faint though, and that might be because I accidentally changed the settings whenever I was messing around with the app. Alright, now with the first test and all the goals complete, it's time to move on to the first real project. And that brings us to right here, but before we can start working on the projects, we need to do a couple things first. Right here I have all the accessories that I haven't connected yet. First we got the tube thing, and this is going to be stuck out the door or the window. That puts all the smoke out. Next we have the fire extinguisher set, and this will just mount somewhere right in here, I think. And next we have the air assist, and I'm pretty sure this just plugs into the back with a couple of cords, and it like does it all by itself, so that should be pretty easy. Not the most comfortable I've ever been. Alright, I got it all installed, and now we're going to move on to the air assist. Now, in with the air assist was 2 cables. One of them is just an empty tube, and one of them has a connector on the end. This connector is going to plug in right here, and then the tube is just going to slide in here until you feel resistance. And in order to take it out, you just push this black thing down and pull the tube out, and that's how it comes back out. But it's pretty solid in there, and you got to do the same thing on the back of the laser. Now the first official project that I'm going to build is going to be a grill caddy for my grandpa, and I'm going to add an engraving on one of the ends. But before I make the engraving, I need to cut out all the parts, so here's a montage. Alright, now with all the pieces cut, I'm going to add a little bit of a design on one of the ends, which will be these oak pieces, and I'm just going to use the laser engraver to make a design on the end here. I quickly made the design in the app and uploaded it to the laser. Alright, I got this thing done, and I really like the way that it turned out. I'm going to give it to Gramps for Father's Day. Now, I see these grill caddies going for about $60 all the time on Etsy. But the other day, I saw one going for about $150, so I knew I had to check it out. And whenever I clicked on the listing, I realized that the reason why it's selling for so much is because they added personalization with the laser, and no one else did. So it really does add a lot of value to the shop. Now, let's move on to the final project. Alright, I got the laser all fired up for the next project, and I think I'm going to make a really cool Genesis Wooden Creation sign for the farmer's market. I'm going to put my logo here, Genesis Wooden Creations, and text right here. Do like a QR code here, and then my YouTube handle right here. So I'm going to cut a piece to the size that I want it, and then we'll throw it in the laser. Alright, now it's time for the fun part. I'm here in the app, and as you can see, there's a live preview that shows you the piece of wood that you have in the laser. And we can just take any picture, and I'm just going to take my logo and drag it in here. Here it is. Now I have my logo in here, but there's all this white stuff that I don't really want. So I'm just going to go up here to edit. And there's this thing called Magic Wand, and you can just click on the part that you want to delete, and there we go. All that's left now is the words and stuff, and we can just delete the stuff we don't want. Alright, I got my design complete, and as you can see, I have my logo over here. I got a QR code for my YouTube channel right here. YouTube handle, phone number, and then just text that says woodworking. And this is going to be a sign that I bring for the farmer's market, and I'm pretty happy with it right now, so I'm going to go ahead, click preview and see where the placement is. It looks pretty good, so I'm going to end the preview, and I'm just going to leave all the standard power settings, and I'm going to process it. Looks like it's going to take about 30 minutes, which is very reasonable. Alright, and it looks like we're ready, so I'm going to go ahead and click start. Now while this is engraving, I'm going to tell you about the laser module. It's a 40-watt module that can cut 22mm wood in one pass. How thick is 22 millimeters? I have no idea. I'm an American. If you enjoyed this video and you like the laser, you can click the first link in the description to check it out. And if you use my code GenesisLP at checkout, they'll give you an extra 5% off of all the other discounts that they're running right now.